Good morning, good morning. It is election day, and while many of us are contending for Trump to win, here is my prayer: that we live as if she is granted the White House. What do I mean by that? Listen, the numbers are there. We all know the numbers are there. If when election integrity happens, we know the numbers are there, okay? But it will take an act of God. It will take an act of God for the votes to reflect what is true. But put that aside, okay? While you and I are going to contend for a biblical worldview to be in the White House, for this nation to be under God instead of pushing God from everything within this nation. Okay, while we are absolutely not claiming that Jesus Christ is on that ballot, all right, may you and I live as believers as if she is in the White House, as if the powers that be are running this nation. Why? Because here's what I fear: that when Trump gets another 4 years, the church will become comfortable again. The church won't feel threatened anymore. The church will go ahead and sit back and say, whew, that was a close call. At least we got him in. No, listen, we need to live as if she was granted the White House. Why? Because it is time that you and I start acting like we are threatened as believers. You and I start rising up like the army that we are and occupy and take territory. Now, don't you get me wrong. I am contending for Trump to get in the White House. I am contending and standing on the fact that he will. But you listen to me, church. It is long gone these days that we get to sit back comfortable because there is no persecution at hand. We must live tomorrow and today as if the same administration is going to go ahead and move forward, as if they are going to continue threatening who we are and who we stand for, as if they are going to continue the agenda that pushes Christ out. Because while you and I will contend, while you and I will do everything in the natural sense and vote and put a biblical worldview in the White House, we need to live as if we are threatened. We need to live as if we are being persecuted. Because until we feel the push, until we feel the rub, until we reflect on the past 4 years and how much ground has been taken from the enemy, I fear that you and I will sit back far too complacent, far too comfortable. Don't let it be that he gets in the White House and we just take a seat and say, whew. Now, don't get me wrong. I hope we praise him all the more. Jesus being Jesus. Okay, no president. Don't praise no president. I pray that we praise him, absolutely. But if and only if they grant her the White House, because y'all know where the numbers fall, okay? We are not fooled. But if the powers that be grant her the White House, if unfortunate judgment is coming instead of mercy, do not get me wrong. I am contending and I'm actually standing on the fact that Trump will be in for the next 4 years. But I pray that you and I reflect on the last 4 years and how much ground they have taken. And we wake up every day and say it doesn't matter who's in the White House. It matters that kingdom territory is advancing. It matters that the kingdom is coming down and moving forward. Yesterday, I alluded to this book right here by Chuck Pierce and actually another guy who I've never heard of. And I want to read a little portion. Because you see, I can speak to you on election day without us knowing the outcome. And we can wake up tomorrow, no matter the outcome, and do what we should do. Not being comfortable because of who won or threatened because of who was given the seat. But instead, we go forward. Move forward, ever pressing. Listen to this. I'm going to read you. God has stored up wisdom for a time such as this. We can gain wisdom to which no enemy of hell has access. From a Hebraic mindset, events that occurred throughout life created smaller cycles of review in a bigger picture of life. And when one summed up all of these smaller temporal cycles, the finite age was determined. We are living in a time of summing up. We are not just living from year to year, but when you look at the season as a whole, you see the Lord doing something in our generation. He is preparing us to move more quickly and advance in His kingdom purpose in days ahead. Can that be a now word? Can you grab onto that? Because listen, this is the next page, so I'm skipping a little bit. We are now living in times of war. This war is so different than the declared times of World War I and II. However, there seems to be world conflict and no one is immune from the effects. Even in a war season, God's army has different rules by which it must play. We must understand time, timing, and God-given missions that lead to triumph. Each year, this is the author speaking, each year I attempt to seek the Lord to gain revelation that causes us to better perceive what the voice of God would love to speak through His people. We are His voice in the earth in every generation and must remain His voice crying in the wilderness. Our decrees open the way for the Lord to come into our season. And once we declare a thing, we then watch to see God's will manifest. Listen, I know what the church is declaring and decreeing this day on election day. I know. I'm with you. I'm contending. But I don't want to see us get comfortable when our prayers are answered. When Trump gets the White House for 4 more years, listen, it will be great. But we cannot sit back so comfortable because our guy got in. We have to wake up every day as if the powers that be are ruling and reigning, as if the other side is crouching in and threatening who we are, and persecution is at our doors. Because when that happens, you and I somehow find our courage. You and I somehow feel like, well, time's almost up. The world's about to end. We might as well go ahead and just gain some for the kingdom. No, we need to do that every day, whether our dude is in the White House or not. We must advance the kingdom. We must wake up every day, whether threat is coming at us, persecution is pounding down our door, or a biblical worldview is going through in our policies. We must. So I'm coming to you on election day. Before anything is pronounced, before any craziness absolutely hits the fan, before anything moves forward, because we know who sits on the throne. Jesus is King. We know who has victory because He is the only one who wins in the end. And while I am absolutely contending with you, church, hear me. I'm contending with you. I'm praying. I'm interceding. I'm here for it. And while I trust that He will be the one that gets in, we better live like she got in. We better wake up every day as if she's running this place into the ground. Because for some reason, only when our feet are to the fire, only when our backs are pushed against a wall, do we armor up and do we start taking ground. What do you say?